What is up there, everybody? Citrus Aviation here for another video, and today we have Aviation News this week, episode 63 for you. We have a lot of fleet news to go over this week. This will be an entirely fleet news episode, so let's go. So, starting off here, we have the retirement of the A340-642s for Iberia. They decided because of the current pandemic going around that these aircraft are no longer fuel efficient enough for them, and so they are sending them to retirement. Here you can see one of them in storage, and you can see a bunch of other Iberian aircraft in storage as well, including some of their now retired MD-80s, which is really cool. Iberia did have a bunch of these, but they were one of the first airlines to retire their large fleet MD-80s. So anyway, really cool picture here, and glad to cover this news because, I mean, well, it's really sad to see, but Iberia is moving on into the future, and we'll see what they do next. It is sad though to see all the quad jets going. And we are covering a lot of retirement news here at the beginning. Some of the stuff is kind of more lesser known news and stuff that I forgot to cover in past episodes, but we do have the very first Ruiz 777 retiring. This picture here is when it was delivered soon thereafter, and this in the early 1990s. And this was Golf Dash Zulu 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 Alpha, 3 Zulus there, and then Alpha. So this is the very first 777-200 delivered to British Airways. If I'm correct, they were the third or fourth customer to receive them after Cathay Pacific got the very first one, and the United had like 5 or 6, and I believe British Airways got theirs as the third. This aircraft is a Boeing 777-236 using the Boeing customer code of 36. And then here's a picture of it later in life with the Chatham Docks livery. This is the current livery that British Airways has. And these aircraft are now starting retirement. And from my understanding, most to all of them are now retired, and some of them have been already sent to St. Athens to be broken up. I covered that, maybe it was last week when I did the Aviation 18 pictures. I showed some of those there as well. Next up here we have a British Airways 777-236. This was the second one delivered, Golf Dash Zulu 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 Bravo, and this is at Everett with its early test flight. So I just thought this was a really cool picture, and I thought I would include that in this episode. Now, before I move on to additional fleet news, I know a bunch of you sent pictures, and I do want to include them in an upcoming episode, but I cannot in this one because I don't have a lot of time to make this video. I'm going to make it as quickly as possible while still achieving the same quality that I usually do for my videos. And yeah, so for those of you who are wondering where your pictures are, don't worry, next episode I'll cover it. And this episode is also coming up later because things I had to do, wasn't able to get the video out on Monday. I have a life, guys. I do have things I need to do. But anyway, this video is out Tuesday, and we'll talk about that later. Anyway, the last British Airways A318 has now been retired. This one was Golf Dash Echo Uniform November Alpha. They've been slowly retiring these for a while, and they finally retired their final A318. These aircraft near the end of their life were exclusively doing the London City to New York JFK route. I believe they stopped over in Glasgow on their way to New York, and then would head directly back to London City, which is a really cool route. Very interesting, and I really like to see these classic aircraft being used on that route. I really like to see the Frontier A318s back when they had those. It's fun to see those at Omaha Airplane Airfield, but now they are all retired. Another aircraft that has gone retired, and this one's kind of gone under the radar. A lot of people did not know this, but Turkish Airlines has retired their last 4 737-700s. They were 737-752s, and this one was registered as Tango Charlie Juliet Kilo Oscar. This was the very last one retired. It is sad to see these aircraft go, but they did serve the airline very well, and Turkish has aircraft scheduled to replace them. Mostly they are upgrading to large aircraft such as the A320Neos, 737 Maxes, and that kind of thing. But it's really interesting to see that 737-700s are starting to get retired. So you want to watch this trend because I'm starting to see NG aircraft, 737 NG generation aircraft, starting to get retired. And so we'll probably see this trend continue as Delta also announced that they will be retiring their 737-700 fleet at the end of the year. Next up with fleet news, we have recent fleet news. This one here is very interesting, and that is ABX Air has their very first brand new retro livery. So this, I believe, is a 1970s era retro livery with the stripe there in the back. It looks really cool. It's similar to what you might have seen like Air Force aircraft back in the day. And this livery appeared on the 6th of September 2020. And this is a 767-201, registered November 768 Alpha X-ray. On the 9th of September, this aircraft seen here in China is a Shandong Airlines 737-85N, registered as Bravo-1986. I believe this is in some special livery here, some sort of SDA special livery. I don't know what organization that is, but it's an interesting livery. I do think it fits the aircraft very well, and I think it's been excellently executed. So yeah, nice job. Next up, we have a brand new livery for Pacific Airlines. This almost reminds me of like Pacifica Airlines, which was an airline that was a fictional airline in Microsoft Flight Simulator back in the day, which was super cool. But this is, I like this airline. This is another Vietnam-based airline. There are a lot of these smaller airlines that have been popping up in recent years because the country of Vietnam now allows for private entities to attempt to form, and you know, airlines are one of those, so they've been forming them, and this one's kind of interesting. I haven't really followed this airline too much, but this is their new livery apparently, and their registration is Victor November Alpha 573. This livery is fairly plain, nothing too special. I give it a 4 out of 10 because color combination is interesting, but it is a yellow white, and I'm not a big fan of everybody doing yellow whites unless it actually solves a real purpose. This one, I don't know if it's solving a real purpose other than yellow whites are a trend, so I give it a 4 out of 10. That's my design rating. Next up here, we have a new special livery for My Cargo Act Airlines, and this is on a 747-481, and this is registered Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Foxtrot. I believe they have a new tail is what this is, because their old tail was like green, but it had like a different symbol on it. So anyway, this is a interesting livery. Again, it's fairly plain livery, nothing really too special about this. I will give this a 3 out of 10 because it's even less stuff on the aircraft. But I do like the 747s. So 747s are really awesome. This appears to be another one of those 747s that was converted from being a passenger aircraft to being a cargo aircraft. You can see all the cutouts, all the outlines where the windows were. And that news item is from September 11th. And we have here finally, on August 25th, 2020, this is the very first A320Neo for Vietnam Airlines, currently wearing the test registration of Foxtrot, that's Whiskey Whiskey Delta Golf. You can see it there on that little white tag near the back of the aircraft. They have the test registration. That is something that they must put on. They must have at least a registration. And so Airbus and Boeing cycle through these very random registrations that they can just use for test aircraft. The aircraft will be delivered as Victor November Alpha 513, and this is an A320-272 November. So, very cool aircraft. I do like the A320Neos, and it'll be good to see Vietnam getting them. They've been really modernizing their fleet, which is nice to see, and I wish the airline the best with their future success. I do actually like their current livery. I remember when this was a new livery like 5 years ago. It was really cool to see that. But we haven't been having too many new liveries recently. I mean, the pandemic really did slow that down, but there just hadn't been too many new liveries recently, which, it's alright. I do like seeing new liveries though. So, anyway, airlines, please come for more creative liveries. This one here is pretty good. So, that is pretty much it for the news for the week. That's basically all I'm going to cover. I'm not going to really talk too much about spotting or such. I did go spotting, but I'll talk about that in the next episode, and you'll see a spotting vlog coming out later this week. Also recorded an interview with AS Aviation, so I'm really excited to post that with you guys. It was a lot of fun to do. I'll get it out hopefully by the end of the week. I'll try to get an airport update out as well for you guys, so it will still have a full week of uploads. It just got delayed a little bit because I had stuff I had to do on Monday. Really sorry about that. So we're going to record Monday night. It'll be out Tuesday. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless you.